I made the most functional and cute home decor out of recycling. I grabbed a plastic container and glass bottle from my recycling and some doilies from the thrift store. I cut the top edge of the plastic container and then covered the outside walls of the container in Mod Podge. I trimmed the center of the lace and made sure it fit over top of the container and then placed it on top of the Mod Podge. I trimmed the extra parts at the top. I applied more Mod Podge on the top of the container and added another small thrifted doily on top. I cleaned the glass bottle with hot soapy water and a scrubby, and then I applied Mod Podge to a strip of scrap lace and I placed it around the bottle near the bottom. I added a second piece of lace near the top and I set that aside to dry. I grabbed this puck light from the dollar store and painted the black parts white with acrylic paint. I placed hot glue on top of the bottle opening and then I stuck the puck light on top. And that's how I used recycling to create a lamp. It is so easy to push the light on and off, and I love how simple it was to make. What do you think?
Grab a simple lamp and some plain paper plates for this fun and easy DIY. To start, fold one plate in half and make a 1/4 inch mark on either side of the fold. Draw 2 lines across the plate and cut the plate along those lines. Take one of the paper plate halves and use it as a template to draw the same lines on the rest of your plates. You will cut half the plates along the lines and fold the other plates along those lines. The number of plates you'll need will vary based on the circumference of your lampshade. This shade has a diameter of 5.5 inches, and we used a total of 50 paper plates. Starting with one of the folded plates, use your hot glue gun to glue the spine to your lampshade. You'll then glue one of the cut plate halves right next to the folded plate. Repeat this alternating pattern all around the circumference of the shade. Once the shade is filled in, attach it to your lamp base and enjoy your new modern light fixture.
Here's a home decor hack that costs just a few dollars and looks like something you'd find in a high-end home store. Now, to get the trendy look, you're going to need a can of textured spray paint. Look for one that says stone or concrete finish on the label. Then take both containers outside and give the outsides of each a good coat of that textured spray paint. I like to start with a light misting so it doesn't run at all, and then go back in with a second coat once the first one is dry. You'll also want to flip the bowl over at the end and spray the inside as well. After everything is dry, it's time to assemble. Grab your hot glue gun and attach the pieces together with the taller container upside down and the bowl sitting right on top of it. Hold those in place for a minute until the glue sets firmly. Now here's the magic touch, battery-operated puck lights. I keep a pack of these around all the time because they're so handy for decorating with. You just press them to turn them on and off, and you don't have to mess with any cords or outlets. And just like that, you've got yourself a one-of-a-kind lamp. When you press those puck lights on, the soft glow it gives off is just so cozy. I've seen lamps like this at home stores for $50, $60, even more. This version, just a few bucks and maybe 20 minutes of your time.
You won't believe what drinking straws and a lampshade have in common. Take a drum lampshade and draw a level vertical plumb line with a pencil on the side of the shade. Continue to draw these plumb lines about every 7 to 8 inches around the entire lampshade. Now take some non-bending straws and start to arrange them in a random zigzag pattern. This does not need to be exact. In fact, the more random the pattern, the better. Take a hot glue gun and place a line of glue along one side of a straw. Lay this straw on the lampshade in line with one of the plumb lines, but with part of the straw hanging off the edge of the shade. Continue to glue straws side by side onto the lampshade in your random pattern. You can ensure that your straws are laying evenly on the shade because you can make adjustments as you hit each plumb line that you drew on the shade. I discovered that you can also apply your hot glue directly onto the lampshade and then lay the straws on top. This method is a lot faster than laying them one at a time. In a well-ventilated area, spray paint your new lampshade in the color of your choice. Don't forget to spray the inside of the shade as well. Use a finial in a matching or coordinated color to attach the shade to a lamp base for your bold and beautiful new lamp. I hope this inspired you to give an old lampshade a dramatic but inexpensive makeover with just a little glue and some straws.
Run to the dollar store and go and grab a glass bottle. We are going to start off this craft with a cleaned out plastic bottle. If it has any plastic wrapper on it or any wrapper at all on it, we need to go and take that off, so use something sharp to go and remove it. Now let's put that off to the side and grab the bottle that we got from the dollar store. If you want to add some extra weight to it, you could always put something inside, like maybe some marbles or something of that sort. So now we're going to line this up with the bottle. After this is lined up and we have it almost centered, go and draw on the container a circle for where this is going to go and fit. So after that is drawn, go and cut it out. I did use an erasable marker because I didn't want to use anything that was going to leave a permanent mark on the bottle. After that is fully cut out, you can either leave this piece of plastic inside or you can go and remove it from the bottle. Make sure the hole on your bottle is big enough, put your glass into the hole, make sure to take off the cap of the plastic bottle. We can use that for another craft. Now we're going to go and paint our bottle. I am using this chalk paint. It's very pastel in color and kind of reminds me of almost the sky. So after this is mixed up, I'm going to go and start to paint this. Make sure to go and put a generous amount of paint onto whatever surface you are using. This chalk paint adheres to glass so incredibly well and also most surfaces. And again, the color is just amazing. So after this entire bottle is painted on all sides, go and put it off to the side, let it dry. Now, while that is drying, let's go and get these fake pearls and start to string them with some pipe cleaner. And now we're going to go and put different lengths of these pearls onto these pipe cleaners. You can also use something like fishing line or kind of whatever you would want to for this. So different lengths of these, make sure to cut off the extra material, go and bend the end of it there, but leave one end unbended. We're going to go and stick that into the bottle a little bit later. So after we make a couple of different strands of this, I made just about 10, we're going to go and poke some holes into our plastic bottle. Make sure to go nice and slow and create little tiny X's as you go. Take the pipe cleaner, stick it in there, and it really does honestly hold in place pretty well. Take the other pieces, go and stick them in as well, and continue to go and do this until you have all the pieces in. Now to really hold them in place, we're going to go and hot glue where it meets with the pipe cleaner and also the bottle. Got some fairy lights. Make sure they of course work. Now we're going to go and just bunch them up a little bit, and we're going to go and stick them into where we have the center hole. So go and stick those into the center hole. Yes, you could also use plugged lights, which it's easier to go through where you took off the bottle cap from with those. Now let's take this base here, stick it in place, and that is perfect. I am using cotton for this, but you could also use maybe stuffing from a stuffed animal, or you could always just go and purchase some stuffing as well. You really want to make it nice and fluffy, and you're gonna need just about 15 to 20 cotton balls depending on how fluffy you want this cloud to look and how big your bottle was. Now let's go and glue these down. It's a good idea to start off with the center and kind of just branch out from there. We're going to follow along the shape of this bottle, and to make it fluffier, we're just going to add some extra cotton into some other places. So continue to go and glue down pieces, make sure to fill out this bottle nice and well, make sure to put some cotton and just cover it up. And now here's what the cloud looks like. We want to get this nice and fluffy though, so use your fingers to go and poof it out. And if you used cotton, you can go and use a fork to really go and poof it out even more. Now here's what the cloud lamp looks like when the lights are on and it's nice and fluffed up. And here's what it looks like when the lights are off. This cloud lamp is sure to light up any room, is so much fun to go and make, and is upcycled.
I picked up this vase and bowl at my local thrift store. First thing I want to do is clean it up really good and then add a light coat of spray paint to the outside. I'm choosing an off-white because that's going to match with what I'm doing in the next step. Going to spray these down just one coat and let them dry. Then I grabbed some napkins with a nice pattern on them. I'm going to open up a single napkin, and most napkins are 2-ply, some are 3. This one's only 2, and I'm just going to gently pull apart the layers. I want to save the patterned layer, and I can discard that white bottom part. I want to take this pretty pattern from the napkin and apply it to those 2 glass vases. So I'm going to need a little bit of Mod Podge and a paintbrush to do that. So because these are curved surfaces, I can't just put the napkin right on top. I want to cut it down into smaller pieces so I can lay it over the curved surface without getting too many wrinkles or folds. I'm going to start by applying a generous layer of Mod Podge to a section of the larger vase. Then I'm going to place the napkin on top and just gently press it down with my fingers. This can be kind of a messy job, but using your fingers is really the best way to do this. I want to smooth it out. There are going to be a few wrinkles, but not too many. I just want to smooth everything down so it sticks. With the main part covered, I can go ahead and cover the bottom and the edges with smaller pieces. A good tip is to cut slits into the side of the napkins. It's going to help them fold down and overlap a little bit nicer. I'm using the same process to cover the smaller vase with the napkins as well. Once both of these pieces are completely covered, I want to set them aside to dry so all that Mod Podge dries. Once they're completely dry, I want to add a final coat of Mod Podge over the top. This is going to help seal everything in and create a really solid, durable surface. I want to turn these two vases into a lamp. So I am going to use some really strong glue. I grabbed some super glue here to attach the smaller one to the bottom of the larger one. There are a couple options for turning this into a lamp. There are traditional puck lights that you just press to turn on and off, or you can get these little lights that are remote controlled. I hope this inspired you to pick up some thrift store vases or use some that you already have and turn them into a decoupaged lamp.
Run to the dollar store and grab some jute cord. You're going to need either 1 or 2 plastic bottles. Now for this larger bottle here, there's a groove that I'm going and cutting into, and it is definitely a lot easier if you are using a plastic bottle that has these grooves. It's so much easier to go and cut, and it'll also be a lot cleaner. For this smaller container, I'm going down to the first groove and cutting it just like I did for the larger bottle. Now make sure to save the caps. You can always use these at the end, or you could just use them for a different craft. Now we are going to go and use some burlap. So now we're going to go and take some wire. You're going to want to go and cut a 3-inch section. Go and line this up with the piece of wire that you have, and then go up just about an inch more. So you have 3-inch pieces, and you also have 4-inch pieces. Now we're going to go and just cut this. So we're going to take a small amount of hot glue, put it onto one end, and we're going to go and slowly wrap the jute. It actually does help if you kind of just take 2 of your fingers, pinch it, and then just kind of twirl it at the top. As you go along, add hot glue, and after you get to the end, go and cut off any extra string, and then go and glue down the ends. Now that these pieces have some jute on them, we're going to go and bend this in half, make some points, and it's going to look like this, almost like a leaf, or a flower petal. Now take some hot glue on the outer portion of it. After that has been glued on all of the surface, take it and stick it down onto some of your burlap. For the inner portion of my burlap flowers, I am using this worn burlap because I feel like it just gives it a little bit more character in the inner portion, and it also looks really cool when it lights up. So after you have this glued down, just go around the edges and then go and cut off this extra amount of burlap. Now for this burlap here, now we're going to go and take some of the jute, and we're going to glue it around the bottom along with all the way to the top of this cut piece of bottle. Continue to go and wrap this, use your thumb to guide it, and if you have a little bit of extra string, what we're going to do is put some glue in the inner portion. Then we're going to go and take this extra little bit of string, and we're just going to go and glue it into the inner portion here. These are the petals that are going to go for the innermost portion of it, and that looks pretty good. So go and figure out where you're going to place these and start to hot glue them down. The easiest way to go and bend these would be to go and take your finger at the center point, go and bend the top, and then they are ready to go and glue down. So the inner portion for this one, I am using 3, and these are the smaller leaves. Then on the outer portion, I'm going to be using 5 of these, and these are the larger leaves. When you're gluing these down, you want to go and match them up almost along the lines of where some of these smaller ones are, but you also want to try to go and space them a little bit, because you do want to leave a little bit of a separation in between some of the other petals. Now I chose fairy lights for this craft because I didn't want to use an actual light bulb. You can if you do want to, but because this is plastic and also has a whole bunch of burlap, I really didn't want it to possibly get really warm and maybe catch on fire. To secure the fairy lights, make sure to use a little bit of hot glue. For the smaller bottle, we're going to go and wrap it in jute first, like we did with the larger one, and then we're going to go and glue down the petals. Now the only difference is that the wire should be facing inwards, so it's hidden by some of the burlap. But we're going to go and glue down the smaller ones in the center first, and after the small ones have been placed, we're going to go and glue the larger ones and overlap the small ones just slightly with the larger ones. Now stick the fairy lights in place, and if you have to, use a little bit of hot glue to go and secure it. Now you're ready to go and hang these up in a place of your choosing in your home. So I have this area in my kitchen where it would normally have a curtain rod, but I think this looks awesome with these, and it just lights up the space. I also really love the little bit of extra fairy light cord, because it really just looks so cool.